impact. So I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful for my wedding.
Yeah. Got the cold feet yet, Spencer?
Yeah, my birthday is in 1 week.
Yeah,
he can't get cold feet. We're 6 months married. It's over. But it is exciting for the wedding. So I'm very grateful for just how everything's come together and how everyone's blessed me as we've been getting ready for the wedding. It's been pretty chaotic and things have fallen through, from the dress to videographer to just different things that happen, and people coming together, and friends and old friends coming together to just kind of help make everything great for next week. And I can't wait. And I'm, as Jordan mentioned, being grateful to be able to afford all of this, because it's definitely not cheap. But to be able to get friends and family together, to get to see my dad next week, and my stepmom, my brother, my sister, their spouses, just super stoked to be with family and some of my best friends over in Napa. So super, super stoked for that. And professionally, I'm so excited to be sitting here right now. I'll tell you guys right now, this is the most exciting group of people. And I know we've got JD and Zyla on the way over here right now as we prepare to launch into the fall. And is Grant on his way as well? Okay, so we can check with him. So I know he's interning right now, but someone we're stoked to develop and really build our team. But going into the fall, and even here since I moved to Houston, we've gone into the fall with just like 2 people, 3 people, and to go into the fall with 9 people on our staff, and people who are excited to grow, people who are excited to build, it's so exciting for what's about to go down, as well as the amount of people who are strong potential branch managers, which I've had people in the past, and I'm like, yeah, there's no way I'd let them run an office. But the caliber of people that we have is pretty incredible, that, every single one of you guys, if you did the right things, could you could go run an office. Now, is everyone going to? Probably not. And we don't have space for every single person. I mean, I'm going to create as many spaces as I can. John Austin, who is working hard to end up top 10. They're at like 210,000 or 215,000 right now. For the summer, I gave him 1 zip code from my territory. And I was like, go play, and so I might create more of those, just random. And it's like, hey, get PRs and see what you build. And he's done a great job crushing it with that. But excited to train people and to learn, like our GCLA program going into this fall. I'm just so stoked about the direction, the people that I've interviewed, and I'm still finishing the last interviews this next week. Or I guess before I leave, and then a couple are going to be right after I get back before CFC, as we finalize everything for CFC. But just so excited about the people that I've met, the caliber of people who really do want to learn and grow. I've been very, very raw and real with everybody about this next year, and where the habits that are in place and the habits that we see during the fall in terms of communication, timeliness, responsibility, people who are drivers, and they're creating versus collecting. And we're going to talk about that. That those are the people that I want building the division. And as we look to next year, we say, okay, we want to go after a national title. What do we need? We've had the talent, by the way, for the past year. Since I moved here, this is one of the most talented pound-for-pound divisions, period. There is not another division. And Jordan can tell you can go meet all the divisions and meet the management staff across the boards. Every division typically has 2 or 3 like studs. Some just have like 1 or 2, like the pilot and like a top DM, where our division, we have so much talent. Like every single DM, all of our pillars are freaking amazing. And so many up and comers who are pretty ridiculous too. And so it's really encouraging and exciting to see the people that we have. And when I moved here, I was like, man, we have so much talent. Let's go. We could go after a national championship. But there's been a lack of commitment. There's been bad habits that have been in place. There's been a lot of collecting versus creating. What I mean by that is you're collecting whatever comes in, right? Whoever applies, whatever happens, whatever sales are called in. You're just collecting stats, collecting people, collecting information versus creating what you want. And there's a difference in that. And the best managers, the national championship managers, we don't just collect what comes in, we create what we want. And even as John Austin started the summer, he had started off really collecting what was coming in. And he was like, I don't get it. And it's like, well, you need to create what you want. I was like, that's just how it goes. If you collect, it's up to chance. You have no idea what's coming in. You have no idea, you know, who's applying. It's randomly coming from online or, you know, whatever it is, versus, you know, that's additive, but really saying, okay, what do I want? What do I want my organization to look like? Who do I want to work with? How do I get this done? And really going out, you know, and going after that. And so we're super excited about going through it. Just so you guys know, today, I'm not sure if it was forwarded in the email, what we're going to be going through as we get you guys ready. We've got a packed agenda. You know, we're gonna do a lot of role playing. We're gonna go through this today, but really today, like today starts for many of you guys a new chapter and really setting yourselves apart. And I'll tell you guys, for anyone who works in the pilot office, in our assistant, you know, division manager pilot, like really the goal is that HTX is a duplicate of our office. And our goal is that through the next year, we start duplicating, like you walk into any pillar organization and it's the same thing. You see the same things happening. You see the same programs going on. Like it's just a spitting image. It's just more offices. And as we open new offices, that's one of my goals is that anyone walks in, they walk in there's nothing different, you know, or there's a crazy Puerto Rican or there's like, you know, I don't know, a crazy Jamaican or a crazy Indian or a crazy whatever, you know, but that's the difference. Maybe the decor is a little different, the music's a little different, but the programs and systems, the heart, the passion, and the desire to grow people is across the boards. And that's something that, you know, for everybody, this isn't their ministry, but it is mine. And I want to make sure that people who are in lead positions, people who are in lead roles are people who care about personally growing themselves, who want to grow, who want to build, but also care about growing people. Because the fact is our business builds on building others. And it's something I love, but it's something that's not for everybody. You know, there's some people that just, they might not really care about other people. It's just true. They're just like, yeah, I don't really care. And then it's not for them. You know, being in our business in management is not for them because that's how our business feels. That's what I loved about Cutco is that the organization only succeeds when the individuals succeed. So you have to be wanting to develop those individuals in order to have big success, you know, where if you're working in another company, you're working elsewhere, or you're, you know, just working in sales, you can really just think about you. But when it comes to management, it's about growing people, you know, so know that. And by being here right now, by being committed to being part of one of our, you know, pillar staffs, you're setting yourselves apart right away. Just so you guys know, that right there gives extra rankings for me when I'm looking at positions for next summer, you know, branch internships, that I look at, okay, who are our top people? Who are our people? The, you know, Kamani, who's been here kicking butt, who wants to grow and grow others, you know, who's our staff from our key offices? Because if I'm gonna duplicate, right, if we're gonna have offices out there, I want, and I told our guys this past year, and I talked to Adrian, and he's going out again, and I want people from our organization. I want our programs duplicated. And so if people are training with us, people are training in the pilot, people are training in HTX, I know that they're gonna be able to go out stronger and develop people the right way, you know, and our division is gonna build stronger and it's gonna build faster. You know, and our goal is to have 20 year-round Cutco sales professionals who are selling Cutco, who are doing home shows, who are doing service calls, working in the field with customers, and they're doing this year-round, earning, you know, six-figure income. Our goal is to have 5 strong realtor, you know, closing gift consultants, and that's something we're super stoked about. Zai, if you can come over here, please. So having those service professionals, that's something that we're super stoked about. And then also, you know, for us having our district manager team and adding, you know, 5 strong, I want to have 15 total strong pillar year-round offices in GCK. And so that's going to take, and we'll have some of that next year, but it's going to take the next couple years to really build that. But again, having the right people out there recruiting in the summer internships is gonna help us build stronger and faster. So I'm really excited about that. You know, and for yourselves to be able to put on your resume that you were part of, you know, a top 5 division in a $250 million company. You know, this year, I really want to go after that #1 spot, but for sure top three. I know we can go after it. we don't have all the infrastructure together to take down number one. It's definitely a possible thing. On paper, it's not probable, but it's a very possible thing. And so with the teams aligning, with people going after it, like the right things happen with campus, with PRs, and it's really a commitment, not just here. I think we're gonna lead the charge for the division, but in our other 7 offices that we have this fall. And if they're all committed to this process, and I know CSTAT's going after some big things, and they've got a big chunk. I mean, they're gonna have 20 plus candidates, like strong candidates over there from their current staff. And then we have over a dozen people, including Kamani, who are transferring over there, who will be going to school over there, to then are down in Corpus, you know, in the group down there that's training and coaching. They've got a great crew down there. And our other offices with key leaders with the right focus and really crushing this fall can be really exciting what happens to finish the year strong. But to me, more exciting about what we're building for 2018. So we're stoked for a strong finish in the pilot and the division. You know, month after month, I want people feeling good. Like, are you putting your best foot forward? You know, did we have our best week we could have had? Did we have the best month we could have had? Like, take pride in your work, you know? Many of you guys are just working 1 day a week. Some of you are working 2 days a week. Whenever you're in, you know, can you give it 110%? When you're doing demos, are you giving 110% to your customers that day? You know, so the fall is not about working like a push, you know, 14 hours a day, every day, go, 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 go. That's not what it's about. That's not what it takes to have a big performance. It's about giving 110% for when you are working. And so for me, when I was in school in the fall, I worked, you know, 1 day was dedicated to the field. And that was Saturdays for me, you know, but that was my demo day. And so for you, it might be Tuesdays, it might be Fridays, whatever day it is. But I had a day that was dedicated to have 6 demos, you know, like that was a full field day. I had another day that I did 2 or 3 demos on it. And then I worked in the office in the fall 1 day a week, and in the spring 2 days a week, you know? And that was, and when I went in, I was like, all right, let's go. And I was giving 110%, driving PRs, crushing my PCs, crushing my interviews, and just came in super focused. And that's what we need. Like when you're coming in, and when it's your day, even while you're at school, are you crushing it at school? Are you passing out flyers? Are you talking to people, you know? And you know, like that day is yours to maximize. And so really taking ownership of that, team ownership, and we'll go through later today. We'll go through schedule, we'll finalize stuff, and we'll kind of split up so you guys can work on your schedule, and we'll work on our schedule for the pilot office and make sure we have that all solidified. But I want to make sure that you guys really take that ownership, because again, that's going to make a big difference in what happens. I think a lot of times I see people like, oh, well, that was this person's job, you know, like knowing what needs to happen each day, and just making sure things are happening, but also, you know, watch out for each other. Sometimes someone might miss something, you know, being like, hey, Jay, did you take care of this? He's like, oh, no, I forgot. And she's like, don't worry, dude, I got it. I got you, you know, and working together as a team. And so doing your best, but we know sometimes you might leave something on the table. Something might slip. You might forget something. And so, you know, just working together to be able to keep moving things forward. And so I'm really, again, excited about that. I think about the best assistant managers, what they're doing, what they're driving. Every day that you're in, minimum 5 PR set. Cool? That's a very easy thing to do. Whether it's from PCs, it's from calling your team and go, yo, I need to schedule 5 people today. Who do you got that I can call? You know, like I don't want to call your whole stinking list. Shoot me a couple numbers of people that I can talk to, you know, and encouraging your team. Are you always meeting people at school? Are you always like making new friends? When you hear someone like complaining about their job, are you like, yo, what's your number? You're like, my job's awesome. Like I'll call you. Okay, like you should at least check it out, you know, and leaving it at that. You don't need to be like, oh, let me tell you and get all into it. It's just like, yo, my job is freaking awesome. Be like, you should check it out. Be like, it's honestly weird if I try to explain everything. You get paid to show like kitchen stuff or whatever, but it's a program designed to teach people skills, time management, organization, interpersonal skills, confidence, you know, learning how to network, something that'll serve you so much, you know, in your future. But again, so write this down, 5 PRs. This is what's expected of you guys, just so you guys know, every day, no matter what. So if I ask you guys, what are expectations for that day? Because at the end of your shift every day, by the way, we need a clock out. Cool? The clock out is, hey, I set blank amount of PRs. I recruited blank amount of people. I collected this many PRs from the interviews, depending. Some of you guys are running interviews, some of you guys are not. Okay, but if you did, these are stats. I'll give you all the stats that you'll give, but the expectations every day, no matter what, 5 PRs per day, okay? On a weekly basis, newsletter. You need to get on the newsletter. Cool? Every week. Weekend Warrior is $500. And then weekly region newsletter is $1,000. Get on the newsletter every week. Minimum for Weekend Warrior. Cool? Like every week, there should never be a week that you're not over $500. That's silly. All right? That means you weren't paying attention to your work. But $1,000 plus, that's the focus always. That was my focus in school. I was able to do that every single week, no matter what. All right? What does it take to do that? If you want to do or die it, it's 7 demos. If you want to do or die it. Could you do it on 1 demo? Yeah, we all know that. You've all had grand orders, okay? You don't want to count on that. Like, I respected the numbers, and for me, I always had plans with my averages. I knew I needed to complete minimum 5 demos a week to hit 1,000, you know? My goal was always to have 7. And by doing that, that's how I was on consistency every single week, week in, week out. You know, so just having those consistent 5 to 7 demos. So some of you it's 7, some of you 5 is good. You know, I knew if I had 5, I was going to have at least 3 sales. If I had 3 sales, I was selling over 1,000. My average order was over $500 when I was a student. So making sure you have that plan. PCing your mini team each week, all right? PCs can happen, by the way, and this will be at a weekly staff meeting. Every week when you have your staff meeting, we'll go over this. Hey, when did you meet? So Cassandra, walk me through your team real quick. Let's say you have 5 guys. And you're like, oh, I PC'd Johnny on Monday. I PC'd this one. I took him field training. I PC'd him on Sunday. You know, like, when is your PC happening? You should be PCing your team. By the way, your PC could be at lunch at school. Some of you guys might go to school with someone that's on your team, right? So you just like have lunch together over at UH. And you, hey, how you feeling? And you like get time with them, map out their week, and make sure they're ready to crush it, all right? So you could have just one-on-one time with them, whether it's field training, when you're going to do a demo, so it doesn't take extra time, you're just taking them with you, all right? By the way, AMs, I would never do a demo alone. I would never do a demo alone. Like, just if someone can't come, you know, like they can't come, but I would be posting in the group me. I'd shoot a text to your team. I would post in the group me, hey, I have blank demos ahead, and list your demos at demo time, daytime, and location. That's what you should post and say, hey, who can come with me? But I'd call people from your team and go, yo, you want to come with me? I have a demo at blank time, and take people with you. Like, that should be your goal, that you say at Ask Mo, if I'm like, how many demos did you do? You're like, oh, I completed 6 demos this week. How many field trainings? You're like, I did 6 field trainings. I'm like, yeah, all right. Like, that's your goal, is like 6%, like 100% of your demos, you have field training. Is that going to happen always? No. Some people will flake out, things will happen, but can you be aggressive to make that happen? That it's like, every demo I do, I'm taking someone with me. Oh, I'm doing a virtual. Great. Have them meet you. Do it at school, in the library, in one of the study rooms if you're doing it on campus. If you're near the office, do it at the office whenever possible. I know sometimes you won't be able to do that, but whenever you can, that's great, because you guys can reserve a study room, you know, at the library at school, and go in there, and it's quiet, and you can have someone that goes to that campus, hey, come watch me, and they can sit in there with you. So you can, on your virtuals, you can have someone field training over half the time, you know, and even if they Skyped in or FaceTimed in, like one of the other things from your computer, and they were able to at least listen in while you're having a conversation with Ms. Jones. But again, make that a focus. Can you guys all get the highest level of certification this fall? That was a goal of mine. I want to get to 50 field trainings, you know, that fall campaign. So take that as a badge of honor, how many people you took field training. So the biggest impacts that you can have into the team. So PC all your team weekly, whether that's a field training, or you're sitting down with them one-on-one, or you're doing one of the 4 PCs, or whatever it is. You want one-on-one time to see how they're feeling, how they're doing, and what they need help with. Cool? We want to always be gauging where they're at and helping them constantly improve. And so we have a process for their first 4, but beyond that, it's just getting time with them weekly. And like, what are they needing? What do they need help with? How can they improve? All right? And then you need to run 2 phone jams per week. Jot that down. You lead 2 phone jams per week. By the way, you might lead a lunch, and it's you plus 2. A phone jam means 2 people are there with you. Cool? You plus 2. And that could happen on campus. You could be at UH, all right, and you could have 2 people that go to UH with you from your team, and you're like, yo, meet me at lunch at blank, and let's make 20 calls together. And you guys do that together, you know? It could be at your day at the office that you run a jam in the afternoon, or you lead a jam that evening. And then maybe it's another day you're not in the office, but you're coming into phone and you're like, yo, come make calls with me, you know, and you get 2 people there with you. So can you lead U+2 twice a week? Cool. U+2 twice a week. Everyone got that? So rewind. What's the first thing that we're looking for? 5 PRs minimum per day that you're in. All right. By the way, are you limited to that? No. Be aggressive with recruiting. That impacts the team. That impacts your paycheck. That grows the organization. And guys, that's noticed by us. You know, when we see you guys working hard at that, like that's a big thing for me. Like when I see people that like care about the organization and building the organization, I'm always going to give them better opportunities than other people, you know, and a chance to, you know, earn more or hook them up with bonuses, trips, whatever it is, you know. So it doesn't go unnoticed. So 5 PR. Second thing. Newsletter every week. Cool. Weekend Warriors, $500 over the course of the weekend to be on the newsletter, and then $1,000 for weekly. But get your butt on the newsletter every single week, representing as an assistant manager on the newsletter. All right. Third. All right. PC or mini team weekly, and whoever they are, whether it's 3 people, 5 people, you know, 7 people, like make sure you get time with them that week. Easy way to do it is taking them what? Take them field training, all right? If not, meet them for lunch, meet them at the office, whatever it is. Get time with each of your team members every single week. Fourth thing. 2 phone. What's a phone jam? U+2, all right? So U+2. So making sure that's happening every single week. So those are things that we're looking at on a weekly basis. Is that happening? All right, so when we have our weekly meeting, staff meeting, know that those are things that we're going to go over. Devin, Jordan, like they're going to go over the managers to see what happened that week. How many PC, how many demos did you do? And so for you guys, you know, I would be focused on, again, 5+ demos no matter what every week. That was my number in college, but for some of you, it's 7+ demos. Some of you have different goals and you're going to do more, great. But even if you're just doing 5+ demos a week, that should mean newsletter, you know? And if it's not, then we need to work with you on stuff because there's some areas of opportunity that we need to help you with, okay? So that's really big. So on a daily basis, when you guys work, you're gonna clock in the morning, just in the group me or whatever, just shoot a message in and be like, ready to crush today. You know, like we know you're awake, we know you're alive, especially when we're newer, people will be on campus.
5 expectations, I got 4. 2 phone jams, PC, newsletter, and 5 years per day.
Field training, sorry.
She makes the 2, I guess.
Yeah, so 5 PRs, 2 phone jams, PC team weekly, field trainings, and newsletter. All right, but yeah, the PCs and field training are kind of mashed.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
those are the things that we're looking. So, and with PCs, you want to try to match the number of demos you completed for that week. You know, excuse me, field trainings. Your goal is to match that number of demos that you did. All right. So on a daily basis, when you guys clock in, so Devin might be on campus, right? You might be at Lone Star, whatever. It's your day. Noah, that it's a day that you're working. So for you, let's say it's Tuesday. So you're clocking in. You're going to high school. You're on your way to school. But clock in the morning. Be like, I'm on my way to school. Excited to crush today. Like just shoot a quick like crush campus. And even on campus, you want to see who you can talk to during lunch, you know, what you can get rolling. But then when you get to the office right after, so put a memo in the group so everybody knows, hey, at the office, you know, ready to crush PCs, interviews, whatever. And then when you clock out for the day, we want to know what happened. Cool. I want to know what happened. It doesn't matter where in the world I am, I'm going to be checking GroupMe, and I want to know what's going on. So I want to know every day what you did. What am I paying for? By the way, I'm paying you my money. It's not from the company. I'm paying parts of my percentage that goes to you guys, all right? So I want to know what is happening, all right? I want to make sure that I'm investing into people who are paying attention, who care, who want to grow things, cool? So at the end of the night, you're like, hey, just finished my day. Let me know, like list whatever you did that day. Ran 3 PCs, did whatever, like just list your activities. Have an awesome day, create a blank for tomorrow. You know, for us as an organization, we want to make sure there's always at least 10 more demos the next day, all right? 10 more demos the next day. This is part of, if you guys ever hear Lloyd, and probably at CFC, I'd assume he'd talk about it because it's something he always talks about is feeding the kids, all right? And so he talks about feeding the kids. How do you feed the kids? And you're like, what? And he talks about this on a regional level, and I don't know what I just did. Sorry about that. And it starts with the PRs that we were just talking about, okay? and setting, everyone setting their 5 PRs a day, signing 2 minimum per day. Every manager signing 2 people that you're accepting for training every day. PCing, and this is more for Devin, making sure this is happening, like PCing all AMs every single week, and top 5 reps. So as a district manager or pilot manager, you've got to make sure all your AMs are PC'd every single week and your top 5 reps, no matter what. If you don't get to anybody else, your top 5 reps and your assistant managers need to be PC'd every single week. That's in your schedule of DMs. And then making sure there's 10 demos set for the next day. Cool? So when you're clocking out, so let's say Tuesday, it's Noah and Jay. You guys finish up for the day. One of you guys can post, or both of you guys can post and be like, hey, and we have 12 demos for tomorrow. And so just make sure you let us know how many demos are for the next day. We're going to talk about later how we're going to be tracking that and making sure we write it down so we can see demo times, what's going on. We can put it in Web PDI, but also I want it on a demo tracker so you guys can visually have it there and know what's going on. So throughout the day, you can be following up on demos that happen.
When you say 10 demos, do you mean for yourself or for your team?
For the team.
For the team.
Yeah, for the entire team. Cool.
Gotcha.
So in the fall and spring, and we should have more than that, in our
So
pilot
10 demos
office.
per AM.
No,
Team.
just minimum. Now in our office,
Yeah.
we really want to double these numbers.
Yeah.
But in any district office, you want to have a minimum of 10 demos for the next day.
Okay, so it's for the office.
Mm-hmm.
So like if me and Tim are in one day and like we book 3 more, like we talk people and we get them to book 3 more for the next day, we just post, we put 3 more, and then whatever
Put your
everybody else
total.
can call again.
Yeah, at the end of the night, you'll just say, hey, currently we have 13 demos for tomorrow, And then the guys who are there, like you're always going to try to drive same day, more action, right, to create more that day. But you want to make sure the next day always has at least 10 or more. Cool. And for us, again, pilot, we want to try to double those. We want to be at 20 demos the next day. But there are some weekdays until, as we build our team, that'll grow because not a lot of people are working during the week, or they might just work. Like for me, it was Tuesdays and Saturdays. Sometimes it was Fridays and Saturdays. For you, your demo day might just be Wednesday. So there's going to be a lot of that where people, and during the school year, I like people typically trying to do their demos within like 2 days, 2 or 3 days tops. Part-time students that are working part-time, 1 or 2 days of demos. Full-time students, 2 or 3 days of demo. I don't really like people doing more than that because I feel like you get overwhelmed. There's schoolwork, there's family, there's other stuff happening, and I'd rather you have a number you feel good with and just crush that every single week, week in, week out. Because I know if you're doing 2 demos, 2 days of 4+ demos, if you're doing that, you're gonna sell 2K plus every week. If you were completing 8 demos a week, within those 2 days, you don't really need to do that much more. That's $600 you're earning per week. That's awesome. People would work 40 hours for the week and still not earn $600 for the week. So don't forget about the freaking sick opportunity that we have with Dirty 30. So for most people, they don't need to do a ton more. Now, when you guys, we'll talk about this later with PCs, when you guys sit down with your people, you do want to know, what do they need to be earning? Most students don't need to be earning much. But there are some, like myself, like Zyla, that I moved out when I was 17. I needed to be earning a certain amount to pay for my apartment, to pay for my car, to pay for my insurance. I paid for my stuff. So there are, a lot of students are very blessed where they don't have to do that. Some of us do. Cassandra has to pay for stuff. She's got a son. We have stuff that we need to pay for. So you need to find out when you sit down with them, what they need to be earning weekly, because that's an important part on our behalf as managers, as leaders, to make sure that they're getting what they need. Because if they're not getting what they need, guess what's going to happen? They're going to go somewhere else to get it. Okay? Because I need to earn $400 a week to have da-da-da-da. So you need to work that backwards and go, okay, so if you have someone, Zyla, you tell us, if I say I have to earn $400 a week to pay my bills, what are you going to do to figure out what I need to do per week?
$400, I guess depending on what commission percentage you're at, I'm gonna map out how many demos with also their after closing average, and what it would take to earn $400 off of their commission.
Cool. And that's in general. The specific is, yeah, you're going to take whatever. If I need $400, I make 30%. She'll do the math and go, okay, she needs to sell $1,200, or whatever, a little bit more, $1,300 per week in order to do that. So that means, so she's going to tell me, hey, Kat, if you want to be safe, you want to be selling $1,500 per week. Cool, $1,500 per week. That way you're definitely making the $400 plus. And then we'll break down with numbers, what does it take to make $1,500 per week? And we'll break that down together, and we'll break down the numbers of what that's going to look like on a weekly basis. So you can sit on the floor right here and use a little desk, or you can pull up a chair over here, whichever you like. But pull it over here. So this is something really big, because our job as managers, we are not, you're not their boss, you're their coach, okay? You're their experience and their income coach, so don't forget that. And so Devin is your experience and your income coach, cool? You are your team's experience and income coach. That is your job. Me, I am the district manager and Devin's experience and income coach, and I need to help them, and that's where my focus will be as we go into this fall, is making sure our managers are building properly and that they're feeling good, and then they carry that to you guys, and you guys carry that, to your teams. So we're all working together on that. But when Lloyd talks about feeding the kids, he talks about 5 PRs, set per day, each manager, no matter what, signing 2, have all PCs, having your PCs of your team, and then making sure there's minimum 10 demos for the next day. For pilot offices, our goal is to double that, but 10 minimum no matter what. And then having 7 assistant managers on staff, which we have in our office, all right?
I know you said we haven't worked out schedules and stuff yet, but since we have, you said 9 people working in the office, is it gonna be like kind of 1 person a day, or is it gonna be 2 people?
We already have the schedule. We'll finalize stuff later today.
Okay.
I do. There's a little bit of change, because Mr. Ames is going to be heading away to school. So we had him on Saturday, so we'll do a little adjusting, but we'll finalize that today. So I have right now 2 days, 1 day, 1 day, 2 days, 1 day, 1 day, 2 days, is what we have in 1 day. But we'll look at it. So some people are working 2 days and we're working 1 day. So we've gone through that. But anyway, so just making sure those things are happening. So every night, just clock out, let us know what happened that day. If you ran an interview, how many did you sign? How many PRs did you collect per person? You guys want to look at that, all right, and take pride in that. So look at how many PRs they gave you from the interview per person. And you guys will give us just the stats of what happened that day. How much CPO, what are we at for that? And we always want to know every day how many we signed that day. So what does signed mean? We selected for training, cool? So every day we want to know how many we signed that day and how many are set for training. So let's say, Archie, you're in on Wednesday with Zyla, right? If we keep that schedule. But as of right now, that's what we have. So on Wednesday, you guys end up signing, 8 people that day. So you'll be like, hey, 8 signed today, 29 set for training on Friday. So you want to know both things. How many signed for the day and how many set for training now, cool? So every week, you want to be driving 30 plus set for training every single week. You guys can jot that down. 30 plus set for training every single week. That is the do or die number. That is the focal number. It is 30 set for training every single week. We have 30 set for training. That gives us a shot at having double digits launched every single week. And in our head offices, that's what we want to gun for. Cool. And so when you look at that with 5 days of recruiting, and we'll count Saturday, Sunday as like 1 day, all right? But with that, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all that comes out to is 6 people a day. Cool. That's all that comes out to. So with 2 interviews a day in most cases, sometimes it's 3 people per interview. So just so you guys know what that breaks down to. Sometimes you guys will run an interview on campus. We're going to talk about that. And we definitely want you guys, you have a friend who's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I need a job, whatever. We want you guys equipped that you can go to the library and be like, yo, or meet me for lunch and I'll tell you about it. And you can walk through, and we have a script of how to run a one-on-one interview for those of you who are confident in explaining the opportunity and answering questions. If not, send them to the office. Or if you're at UH, you could be like, hey, Zai, can you meet with one of my friends at lunch? Go sit with her and them and watch her go through and explain it to them, so that you can learn how to do that as well. And you'll do that down more in and do that with people. So question?
Yeah, as far as like the trainings go, because I know like a lot of people will have school and everything. Is there just like trainings like 1 day out of the week, or how does that? Like... We'll
go through stuff. Our training's gonna be Friday and Saturdays. It's Friday afternoon. It doesn't start till 2 p.m. And then Saturdays. So it doesn't conflict with most people. Most people are out of school. So even the high school kids, are out, or they can get out a little bit early. And sometimes if they have like their AP class at 2 o'clock, then they'll just come right after. But in most cases, they can get out.
Do we have a limit in terms of hiring right now? Because
No.
I understand. Okay. Because I was understanding that a lot of kids work less during school, but a lot of kids want to work versus summer where less people work, but they work more.
Hmm.
So I was trying to see if we have like.
No limit.
Okay. Awesome.
No limit. Yep. Get them in. Get them in. All right. Glad you're awake. Kind of. Sort of. All right, so let me finish this, and then we're gonna dive in. We're gonna dive into teaching, but in terms of you guys, so your number as an AM, there's one of two things you should always be doing as an assistant manager. Cool. One of two jobs. Number one, this is not just assistant manager. This is as a manager, because assistant manager, you're doing the same thing that a manager does. You just don't have as much responsibility, right? You don't have to pay the bills yet. You don't have to make sure everything's happening. You're like, you have your responsibility for that day, but it's the same actions that everybody's taking. It's the same thing that everyone's doing. Two things that you should always be doing. Number one, something that you should be doing should have to do with recruiting. Number two, with development. Cool? Everything you're doing should be creating more recruits or creating more sales. All right, so when I say development, it's I just say sales, CPO, whatever, but developing people, helping them get better, more sales, more CPO, bigger paychecks, like that all goes under that. So when it comes to recruiting, you want to master two things big time, PRs and knowing how to drive a big PR program, and face-to-face recruiting. Face-to-face recruiting is on campus. You guys can utilize this on campus. You can use this at the bowling alley. You can use it at the mall. You can use this wherever the heck you are. You're at Chipotle. But being able to do face-to-face recruiting, all right? And you're also going to learn campus tables. Some of you guys will be helping with tables. But for me, I'm like, if someone can master face-to-face recruiting, tables are a piece of cake. All you're doing is like saying, hey, fill out this application. Everything else is the exact same face-to-face approach, So you'll go through that. But you want to get really good at that, being a great recruiter. Other small components that we're going to talk about today when it comes to recruiting is being a great second man, okay? You can do so much. So Archie, Zyla's running an interview, or vice versa. She knows how to second man. She'll second man the crap out of your interview. But if she's running an interview, you learning, how to mingle with people, how to talk to people, to create a good, comfortable environment. That really, they're like, man, this place is really great. Like, everyone here is so nice, like they want to be a part of what's happening. And so creating a welcoming environment for people with the interview, greeting people for the interview, and also kind of calming their nerves. Some people come in to the interview and they're nervous, like they don't know what's going on. They don't know what to expect. They might have thought they had an interview just for them, and then there's other people and they're just like, oh my gosh, like, what are all these other people doing here? Even if it's one other person, it's like, well, I had an interview. Well, my interview was at 4, so just making sure they know, hey, right now we're just screening through applications just to make it feel for who's here. So go ahead and read through this, fill this out, and interview with you shortly. If things look good, we'll have you for a formal, second part of the interview. We'll go through all the details. So like, all right. So then just knowing what's happening. But then, guys, there's training second manning. And there's just so much that you can do for creating both. Creating recruits and creating development. What do I mean by this? Just because they're in training doesn't necessarily mean they're on the team yet. Majority are, but they're still getting skepticism from home, right? They're still getting family and friends saying, this is a bullshit job, get a real job, you're not gonna make any money, whatever it is. They're still hearing that from people. So they're not launched out yet. You guys have known people. Maybe some of you guys have had friends that came to the first day of training and didn't come to the second day of training, or launched out and quit right away because their family or friends told them X, Y, and Z. So a lot of the second manning that you can do when they come for training, when they're coming to events, when they're at team meetings, a lot about is giving them confidence, and having them think big about what's possible, and giving them confidence, and giving them tools, resources, simple, like listening to Devin, listening to Zai, whoever's running training, following the manual, calling in, utilizing PDI, going on, having a personal coaching session. Like, just the conversations you have with people. There's one thing people could walk into training, you're like, yo, what up? High five, you want to cut this? Versus like, oh, hey, how are you? How'd you hear about the job? And then you're chatting, you're like, oh, how's your family feel about this? It's a good question to ask, even though you could be like, you want to, like, oh, how's your family feel? All right. Most people are going to say what? They're not really sure about this. Most of you are like, they're not really sure about this, but they said, you know, whatever, they're not really sure about it. Small percent. Totally against it, don't want me to do it. Small percent, they're so fired up, they love Cutco. They're so excited for me to do this, all right? Majority, not really sure about this, which is where I'd be too. It's like, well, you're doing what? It's just kind of a weird job.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to explain it. The hell, they go home, what are you doing? I got this job, what do you do? So nice.
nice.
You know, like what? And you're like, yeah, but like, go door to door? No, not door to door. Like I do appointments, like, but with who? Like, I don't know. Like they don't know how to explain it. You know, they're like blanked out during the interview. So understand that it's normal for like family to be like not sure about this thing, okay? So you've got to give them confidence in that. We'll talk about second manning and really making sure you guys are crushing that. But are you giving them confidence in like, hey, that's totally normal. It's such a weird job, you know, and really sharing experience. But you don't need to go into all negative Nancy, but you could just be like I'm like, my mom did not want me to do this. But once she saw the success, she was like, oh, okay. She still was cautious. And then she saw me crushing it and bringing it. And she was like, okay, fine. You know, like, and now she's like my biggest supporter, you know, like, oh my God, my daughter's the best saleswoman in the whole wide world, you know, and I'm like, I'm not even like sad, but that's cool. She's like, she's the best knife salesman woman. I'm like, I haven't sold knives in a while, but I'm pretty good. But it's been a while. So anyway, you get really good at those conversations that make people feel comfortable, that make people feel like, okay, I'm not alone in this. You know, like I'm not the only one who's experiencing this or whatever it is. You know, if someone's like, oh, my parents are so excited. They've had Cutco for however long. Oh, my uncle sold Cutco and he's so fired up for me to do this. You know, you get those kids too. It's great. You know, like I had a kid, our kid who recommended Zach Short, the guy who recommended him. He's like, oh yeah, my brother did this, another brother. And like, they were like, you have to do this. It's so good for your experience and you can make great money. You have to do this, you know, like, again, that's not every kid. I wish every kid came in like that, you know, but we do a lot with the conversations we have to create that. So we're going to talk about second manning because that's really powerful and not just talking to people just to keep them busy or occupied, but really having intentional conversations that can really impact how they feel about the job and also create expectations for what they can do. And then creating a desire for them to want to go big their first weekend, to want to go after it in their fast start. By the way, that's created through stories they hear. Cool? They don't come into training like, I want to go after a 10K fast start. They didn't even know what the hell that was. Right? It's through hearing about it. It's through stories. It's through seeing examples. It's through seeing what's possible that they go, I want to do that, right? So we can start that early on through the conversations while you're cutting. So we're going to talk about second manning. We're going to talk about interviewing skills. This all has to do with like the recruitment, you know, so do you know how to connect with people properly? You know, we want all of you guys to learn how to run kick butt interviews, and the interview is all about connection. You know, they need to feel, you know, listened to, they need to feel comfortable, they need to feel, you know, like they need to feel like you're really seeing something in them. It's not like you're just sitting people in a video and giving everyone a job, you know? So are you actually looking at their application? Are you actually pointing things out that you like about them? Are you paying attention to things, you know? When you go through the perks, are you really creating vision for this office, for your office, for our business, where they're like, damn, I want to be here. Like, this is awesome, you know? And it has a personal touch to it and a personal feel, not just watch the video. You want to work here? Like, that doesn't work. You know, I had a manager the other day saying, I feel weird about the video interview because I feel like I don't even matter, or like I don't even have to have skill. Like I feel like you have to be skilled to recruit people. And I was like, you still do. You think you can just play a video and be like, you want to work and everyone's just going to come? Like, no. Like you need to know how to actually build rapport more in a shorter period of time. You need to know how to create vision, you know, for your organization so that they're like, damn, I want to be a part of this. That's a skill set, by the way, that not everyone has. It's a skill set that leaders have. They know how to create vision. They know how to create excitement, you know, for things. And that's something that we want to teach you guys how to do. So we'll walk through interviewing skills. So those are all like recruitment. So PRs, face-to-face, how to second man, interviewing skills. We're going to go over those things today, our recruitment things, okay? Then there's development, all right, and creating CPO. So this is, you know, obviously you guys can be doing demos, you can be doing field trainings, but big ones as managers is PCs, right? Personal coaching sessions. So we're going to talk about PCs. It's PDI. So your personal daily impact, personal daily interaction, personal daily influence. I've heard it all different ways. But this is your chance to really impact and influence your people through conversations you have over the phone, you know, after their demos, during their demos, checking in, clocking out. Are you a report taker, or you actually have conversations and see how they're feeling and be able to like impact and influence them? All right. Because again, there's one thing just collecting stats. There's one thing influencing somebody and impacting somebody. All right. So I've seen a lot of people do PDI, and it's really more just report, you know, stat collecting. So we're going to walk through. So PDI is big. And then skills checking, guys, skills checking, and really helping them get great at the job. Okay. What I noticed this summer, you know, across our division is a lot of people maybe they were skills checked once, but never looked at again. You know, and most people in my organization, you guys get looked at multiple times, you know, because we want to see where you're at now, what's happening now. All right. And it's important that we're skills checking them and making sure they're feeling confident with what they're doing, with what they're implementing from initially the manual. And that's all that matters. All right. And so we're going to talk about, because with developing a sales representative, many times there's so many managers, and if you go out to run your office, Isla, and you're teaching them like triple close and all this stuff, like in training, that's silly. All right, it's silly, it's overwhelming. They don't get their foundations down. All they needed, before they learn anything, they need to memorize their freaking 8, 9, and 16. That's what they need to have down. So in training, the advanced thing we teach them in the morning is how to open the pamphlet and show we have 2 bigger sets. That's it, you know. And I don't go into detail. You guys have been in my workshop. I don't go through names and uses with the complete set. No, I just go, we have our basic and we have our specialty tools. That's it. Like, that's all they say when they're starting off. And that's like, if we want to get advanced and teach them how to show all 3 sets, when I do the high flyer workshop, I just show them to go, here's our basic, which is the manual. Hey, our signature also has a scissors, and it has this, and it has a cheese knife, and it has this and this. And then our complete has the basic and the specialty knives. Cool? If you are considering a set, which do you think would be best for you guys? Like, that's advanced when they're brand new. Nothing else. Nothing else do they need to know. And I went to offices like, oh, well, they told me I should show this or do this. And I'm like, close me. And I was like, what the heck are you doing? You know, and like, they don't even have their foundation down. So just know that the most important thing for any rep is to get their fundamentals down. And so I want to walk through with you guys how to actually skills check somebody, how to actually walk through that, because that's going to make a really big impact. Cool? So we're going to take a 5-minute break right now, because then we're going to dive in. We're going to go into how to be a great recruiter. You guys want to make sure you have the PR stuff up, as well as the face-to-face recruiting approach. I want to make sure that was in that packet, because that might be in my campus packet. So I want to check that real quick. 5 minutes. If we want to pull out Ignite, if you want to make an Ignite, if you want to do anything, stand, stretch, say hi, and then we'll roll. All right, so stand up, move it.
Yeah.
Yes.